America loves meat. We grill it, fry it, and celebrate with it. But behind this simple pleasure hides a dark secret. 4 companies control most of the meat on your plate. Tyson Foods, JBS USA, Cargill, and National Beef. These are the Big Four. They dominate the market, dictating what we eat and how much we pay. This isn't just about burgers and bacon, it's about power. The Big Four's grip on the meat industry is suffocating small farmers, exploiting workers, and harming our planet. Their pursuit of profit has a devastating human and environmental cost. This isn't the story of a fair market. It's a story of corporate greed. A story of a system rigged against farmers, workers, and consumers. It's time to expose the Big Four and their chokehold on our food system. It's time to demand better. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into raising livestock. You work tirelessly, caring for your animals and tending to the land. Then you're forced to sell to a company that dictates the price. A price so low, you barely break even. That's the reality for countless small farmers across America. The Big Four's dominance means farmers have no negotiating power. They're trapped in a system where they're constantly squeezed. The Big Four controls 85% of the beef market. They control 70% of the pork market, and nearly 80% of the chicken market is controlled by just 10 companies. This lack of competition is a disaster for rural communities. Family farms, once the backbone of America, are struggling to survive. Many are forced to close their doors, unable to compete with the Big Four's ruthless efficiency. This isn't just a market inefficiency, it's a moral crisis. We're letting a handful of corporations destroy a way of life. We're letting them dictate the fate of our food and the people who produce it. The Big Four claims to play by the rules, but their history tells a different story. A story of price fixing, collusion, and blatant disregard for the law. These companies have been caught red-handed, manipulating prices to line their own pockets. In 2020, Tyson Foods settled a price-fixing lawsuit for a staggering $225 million. Their crime? Conspiring to inflate the price of broiler chickens. This wasn't an isolated incident. JBS USA, Cargill, and National Beef have all faced similar accusations and hefty fines. These aren't just corporate misdemeanors, they're crimes against consumers. They're crimes against the very idea of a fair market, and they have real-world consequences. Families struggling to put food on the table are forced to pay inflated prices because of the Big Four's greed. This is about more than just money. It's about accountability. It's about holding these corporations responsible for their actions. It's about demanding a system where fairness and transparency prevail. The Big Four's greed doesn't stop at the farm gate. It extends to the very people they employ. Meatpacking plants are notorious for their dangerous and exploitative working conditions. Workers, many of them immigrants and refugees, face grueling hours, low wages, and constant pressure to work faster. Injuries are rampant. Amputations, lacerations, and repetitive strain injuries are disturbingly common. Workers often report being denied bathroom breaks and pressured to work through pain. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed the horrific conditions in these plants, with outbreaks sickening and killing countless workers. The Big Four prioritizes profit over the safety and well-being of their workers. They cut corners, ignore safety regulations, and treat their employees as disposable cogs in their machine. This is modern-day exploitation, plain and simple. We cannot ignore the human cost of cheap meat. We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering happening in these plants. It's time to demand better for the people who put food on our tables. Tyson Foods, a legacy of greed. Tyson Foods, the biggest of the Big Four, embodies the worst excesses of the industry. Their track record is riddled with environmental violations, labor abuses, and price-fixing scandals. They've been fined repeatedly, only to continue their unethical practices. In 2017, Tyson Foods was fined $2 million for violating the Clean Water Act. They've been accused of polluting waterways with animal waste, threatening public health and ecosystems. Their labor practices are equally abhorrent, with reports of wage theft, unsafe working conditions, and retaliation against whistleblowers. Tyson Foods is a prime example of corporate greed gone unchecked. They've amassed enormous wealth while exploiting workers, harming the environment, and undermining fair markets. Their actions demand accountability and a fundamental shift in how we approach food production. JBS USA, a global empire built on bribes. JBS USA, a subsidiary of the Brazilian company JBS SA, is another major player in the Big Four's meat monopoly. They've grown into a global behemoth, but their success is tainted by a long history of corruption and unethical practices. In 2017, JBS SA was embroiled in a massive corruption scandal that rocked Brazil. The company admitted to bribing hundreds of government officials to secure favorable treatment, including lax environmental regulations and access to loans. JBS USA claims to operate differently in the United States, but their track record tells a different story. They've been fined for environmental violations, accused of price fixing, and criticized for their treatment of workers. Their global empire is built on a foundation of corruption and exploitation. Cargill profiteering from misery. Cargill, a privately held multinational corporation, is another member of the Big Four with a long history of controversy. They've been accused of everything from child labor and deforestation to price fixing and environmental destruction. In 2021, Cargill agreed to pay $52.5 million to settle a pork price-fixing lawsuit. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Cargill has faced numerous allegations of environmental violations, including polluting waterways with animal waste and contributing to deforestation in the Amazon rainforest. Cargill's vast wealth and influence have shielded them from true accountability. They continue to operate with impunity, prioritizing profit over the well-being of people and the planet. Their actions highlight the urgent need for greater corporate transparency and stricter regulations. A better way supporting small farms, saving ourselves. The picture may seem bleak, but there's hope. We, the consumers, have the power to change the system. We can choose to support a more just and sustainable food system by supporting small farmers. Buying directly from local farmers is a powerful act of resistance. It's a way to break free from the Big Four's grip and support a more equitable food system. It also means fresher, higher quality meat that hasn't been subjected to the horrors of factory farming. Seek out farmers markets, community-supported agriculture programs, and local butchers. Ask questions about where your food comes from and how it was raised. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the kind of food system you want to see. This isn't just about meat. It's about taking back control of our food. It's about supporting a system that values fairness, sustainability, and the well-being of people and the planet. It's about choosing a better way forward. Together, we can break the Big Four's stranglehold and create a food system that works for everyone.